Story number 1, The Whispering Library. Sarah was deeply engrossed in her research paper, surrounded by the scent of old books and the soft glow of the library's reading lamps. Suddenly, a booming voice shattered the tranquility, announcing a lockdown. Confusion and fear rippled through the room as the librarian swiftly directed everyone to a dimly lit back room. As Sarah and her fellow students huddled together, a sense of foreboding settled over them like a heavy blanket. Minutes stretched into hours as they waited in tense silence, the only sound the whispered exchanges between frightened classmates. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream pierced the stillness, sending shivers down Sarah's spine. Panic surged through the group as they realized the source of the scream was unknown, lurking just beyond the confines of their makeshift sanctuary. As the hours dragged on, nerves frayed and tensions reached a boiling point. Each creak of the building and rustle of the wind outside intensified their fear, amplifying the sense of isolation and vulnerability. With each passing moment, the line between reality and imagination blurred, leaving Sarah and her classmates grappling with the terrifying uncertainty of what lay beyond the walls of their sanctuary. Story number 2, The Office Intruder. John's fingers flew across the keyboard as he worked late into the night, the soft glow of his computer screen casting long shadows across the empty office. Suddenly, the lights flickered and died, plunging the room into darkness. A sense of unease settled over John as an automated voice announced an intrusion and initiated a lockdown. Panic swept through the office as John and his colleagues scrambled to secure the doors and barricade themselves inside. With each passing moment, the darkness outside seemed to grow thicker, suffocating them with its oppressive weight. Every creak of the floorboards and rustle of papers sent shivers down their spines as they braced themselves for the inevitable confrontation with the unknown intruder. Hours dragged by in agonizing silence, broken only by the sound of their own ragged breathing and the pounding of their hearts. With each passing moment, the sense of isolation and vulnerability intensified as they grappled with the terrifying realization that they were not alone in the building. As dawn broke and the lockdown was lifted, John and his colleagues emerged from their makeshift fortress, shaken but alive, haunted by the memory of the night's harrowing ordeal. Story number 3, Shadows in the Hospital. Claire hurried down the sterile corridors of the hospital, her footsteps echoing against the cold linoleum floors. As she made her rounds, a sense of unease settled over her, amplified by the unsettling silence that hung heavy in the air. Suddenly, the PA crackled to life, announcing a lockdown and warning of an unidentified intruder on the premises. Panic gripped the hospital as staff scrambled to secure the building and protect their patients. Claire's heart raced as she checked on her patients, her senses on high alert for any sign of danger. As she entered a dimly lit room, a flicker of movement caught her eye, and she froze in terror as a dark figure darted past the doorway. With each passing moment, the hospital transformed into a sinister labyrinth, where shadows whispered of unseen threats and every sound seemed to herald the approach of danger. As Claire and her colleagues huddled together, they braced themselves for the inevitable confrontation with the unknown intruder, their hearts pounding in their chests as they waited for the lockdown to be lifted and the darkness to be banished once more.